Good morning and welcome. Welcome. Please get your coffee. If you haven't got it, you need it. We'll find our way into this circle, and as we do, we'll just share welcome with each other. We'll know that we're here as spiritual seekers who are united in community. And as we warm this space up with our conversation, with our connection, we will recognize that we are one with our online community as well. All those who gather with us regularly and those who might just be joining us, checking us out, you're welcome. And you're part of this community, whether you're in this space or not. So welcome to each of you. As we know, we are a community that prides, no pun intended, itself on being radically inclusive, being a place of welcome and affirmation for all people, all sizes, all abilities, all colors, all traditions, all histories, all sexualities, all genders, all types, all people, period. And so as we live into that commitment, we also live into the other commitments that we make as a community. Our commitment to be caring, our commitment to be looking outward and knowing that we're not well ourselves until we're all well. And we look toward our commitments at being an Earth Charter community, of which we'll hear more about today, especially with it being our day to honor Earth Day. And so as we gather in this community, I welcome you and we welcome each other just as we are. Sleepy or awake, tentative or boldly here, a bit nervous or ready to tackle anything that confronts us. We're all here and we're in this together, and we are here to support one another as we seek to live our highest human values. So, why don't we light our community candle? This candle represents many things, of course. But as its light burns within our gatherings, we are reminded of our connection to each other, our connection to the very elements of the earth and the cosmos, and we're connected to all. And so as we gather today, may all the barriers that we sense in life between peoples, within relationships, may the barriers that we sense even among species float away for a time, so that we may focus on our connection to all life and our responsibilities that come as a result of that connection. So let's join together by singing. It's a song to the earth, to the world, and to each other. Let's sing together.
I sing morning. Let's acknowledge the land on which we meet. This land doesn't belong to any of us. When we view it with a broad, expansive vision, we see this land as a part of our planet Earth, humanity's collective home. This young planet, forged when our universe was already 8.5 billion years old, cruising around her sun, gradually cooling and waiting another long while for life to emerge. And as short a time as we've been resident, just a blip in the long history of our planet, we've staked claims, bought and sold, drawn lines, and all the while, our planet has continued to circle around her star, which it's continued its journey in the galaxy and among the billions of other galaxies. She calmly rotates and creates this Goldilocks planet, perfect for us. And so, we meet here in this place we foolishly call ours. Let's acknowledge the land that was here long before us, the indigenous people that were here long before us, the wisdom of the land, sea, and air that exists out of time and is ours for the learning.
Well, who's ready for a time for all ages? If anyone wants to come to the carpet, we have some things to do today. So come on, let's do some fun things. Come on, there's lots of room. Hello, hello. You want to come right here? Right there? So today we're celebrating Earth Day. Earth Day was yesterday, but that's okay. Here we're all together. We'll still celebrate Earth Day today. And I want to know, do you know anything about Earth Day? What do you know? You think, I'll come back to you, okay? Think about that. Anyone else? What do you know, what's important? What do you know about Earth Day? Go ahead. Oh, great. A time to honor the earth for what it's given us. It's good. What else? What else do you know? Yeah?
To pick up garbage.
To pick up garbage. Why is that important?
Because it's not healthy for the earth.
Not healthy for the earth if there's garbage all over it. Yeah. Anyone else? Do you want to say something? It's okay. It's all right. Well, Earth Day, for me, is important because we get to remember how precious the earth as our home is. Because sometimes we're playing, we're going to school, we're doing work, we're doing chores, we're sleeping. We forget that there's a whole planet that does nothing but look after us. It looks after us with what it grows so that we can have food. It looks after us with the clouds so that there can be rain and snow and get the ground wet. It looks after us with sunshine. And it knows that we can't have too much sunshine. It knows we have to turn the earth so that there's darkness and nighttime too. The earth has so many things, does so many things to look after us. So Earth Day is a time to remember that too. And you're right, to look after it for a bit and to remember to care for it and to celebrate it. So today, as a way to celebrate it, do you remember Sherry Ann, our good friend Sherry Ann? I love that on every Earth Day Sunday, we sing a song and do some movement to this song that helps us really celebrate the earth. So we are going to learn some of those movements, and then we're going to sing that song, all of us together. So Sherry Ann's going to help us learn that and talk about it.
What's this? Yes. Earth. What else do we call it? Any names for Earth? Yes. The blue marble. Yes. What else do we call it? Yes. A planet. Wow, amazing. What if we all, oh, one more. Yes. The Goldilocks planet. Yes. Is there one more? Another way that you describe this? What if we also describe it as home? As it's turning. If it's our home, it is so important to celebrate and care for it, just like Chris said. And one way to celebrate it is to name a day after it. And another way is to sing a song. So we're going to sing a song that a very good friend of ours, Carolyn McDade, wrote quite a few years ago. She's a very good friend of our community, and she has shared it with us. And the name that she uses in the song is another name again for this, Gaia. Gaia is another name to call this. So, one of the ways to sing it is with our voices and our whole bodies. So for the people on the carpet, I invite you to stand with me while we learn a few actions. The name of the song is Oh, Beautiful Gaia. And the actions we're going to use today, they are inspired by American Sign Language. And so the first action that we'll use, that I invite you to try and practice with me, is to create the letter O with your hand. You can look through an O, so it's got a hole in there. Yes, you got it. And then beautiful, the sign for beautiful, has us put our hand by our face and fan it right around our whole face, like that. Beautiful. And then another way to name and call our home is to use the letter G for Gaia. So in American Sign Language, it looks a bit like you've got your thumb and your first finger out, kind of pointed, and you use that with both hands, and like our planet turns around, we turn our hands around each other. And that's one way to try to represent the amazing Gaia. We'll need a few more actions. Another one is call. And so if you create the letter C with your hand and imagine calling from your mouth and out into the air. Call. And another really important one we'll practice right now is home. And if we take our hand and put it close to our chin, our mouth, and then bring it around to the side of our head, that's one way. Another way to represent home. And then there are some other actions that I think you'll pick up pretty quickly as we go. So let's sing.
Thank you, Sherry Ann. Thank you, everyone. And I'm glad we could sing that song to celebrate the earth together. Kid Spirit is happening today. Ariane and Daisy are ready to do some more earth fun and activities today to celebrate. So you're welcome to join them.
It's me again. I would like to read you a poem titled Encouragement to the River by Ian and MacDonald. It's not your fault. You mix with everything. You pick up whatever you flow through. Everything the rain catches coming down. Everything tiny silvery streaks of droplets soak from the ground and bring to your banks in quick rivulets. It's not your fault. You mix with everything, becoming more and less than yourself. Mile by mile, solvents from the factory, tailings from the mine, fertilizer from the fields, shit from the feedlot, waste from leaking tanks the army base left behind, sewage from the city's raw flush. You take it all in. It changes you. And it's not your fault. You bead on my sun-blocked arm. My paddle cuts into your brown flowing current. Tiny plastics float by, bobbing up and down in the waves without apology. But it's not your fault. It's not your fault. These are words by a contemporary poet.
It's a song
I am really excited that we get, instead of just listening to me, you get to listen to two of us today in a conversation. And I think many of you know who this is next to me, but Zoe Chaders, why don't you tell us a little bit about Emberwood, your role, what you do.
Great, thanks so much. It'll come as no surprise, perhaps. I love nature. Earth Day is so good. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Zoe. I'm one of the facilitators and leaders at Emberwood, which is our shared outdoor community place. So Alison Brooks Starks and I have been working for the last 5 years in partnership with SSUC at building outdoor space to nurture our own inner nature, to nurture our spirituality, and to bring folks together in a natural setting to explore deeper meaning.
So I love how on Earth Day we can have a conversation, and I want to ask you first, just some personal questions about your relationship with nature, because I think they will help us think about our relationship with nature when we think about these questions too. So I want to know, where is your most meaningful spring location? What gives you life, and where is it?
Oh gosh, what a good question. My most meaningful spring location, and it's gonna sound a bit off the wall, but stay with me, is actually just my balcony. Yeah, all of the birds have returned. It's so good to see. The chickadees have made it through the winter. They look so joyful. And I have 2 cats. So every morning, once the snow has melted, we go out to have our coffee on the balcony and listen to the birds sing. And that's how I know spring has returned.
You and your cats probably have different things on your mind when you're watching the birds.
Like, very different.
So when you experience that, can you describe a little bit about what happens to you, in you?
Yeah. I think for me, there is this effect in Edmonton, and again, I'm going to really invite you to stay with me. Edmonton spring is not the prettiest thing you've ever seen, So we get this lovely period of time where winter has left, spring has come, and I often feel like maybe it was all for naught. Maybe spring won't actually return. Mm-hmm. Maybe the gray, maybe the dust, maybe the dirt is here to stay, and maybe this cycle won't happen or won't continue. And then there's a day you wake up and all of a sudden it's green again. And there is something in that magical moment, that transition that is not perceptible to our eye. We wake up one morning and there it is, and I just can feel my whole chest expand. I can feel things are lighter. I can feel energy flowing through my body, and I can breathe again. And it's like coming out of hibernation that feels so special and so life-giving for me.
Mm. Have you seen a budding leaf yet?
No.
No,
I haven't. I'm like, I really had to scan all of my walks in the last 2 weeks, and I'm like, I don't think I have.
And when you describe what happens in you when you see those, like I feel we are so close. Like there's that such hopefulness in me when I look at those trees and I think, well, they're not there yet, but it's soon. And then to be able to feel that.
Yeah. What is your spring place?
My spring place would be the same as my kind of anytime place, which would be wherever there's running water. I don't mean out of the faucet. I mean like a running stream, a running river. That is always my place, to be able to see kind of where you're seeing the past, present, and future all at once, because you're seeing where it comes from and where it's going, and there's something beautiful about that for me. And in the winter, it's invisible to us. Much like everything going on in nature in the winter, there's a lot going on, but much of it is invisible. And so I love that under the river, even if I'm just crossing it over a bridge, I know that under there, there's lots going on. So we're sticking with you.
I'm ready.
Okay. So are there times when you grieve for the treatment of the earth? Are there things you experience recently or regularly that bring you to that reminder of our mistreatment?
Oh gosh, yes, I'm instantly teary. I'm always grieving all the time, I think. And I think what happened for me, there was this, I really had to reckon that like I am nature too. And once I started to really internalize this sense of like, I am nature, I don't sit outside of nature, I don't sit apart from nature, I'm not just observing nature, that I am nature too, and that's in my body. The grieving is for me personally, and is for Earth, and is for nature, and is for Mother, and is for all of us. I am nature, you are all nature, so I grieve all of you in this like loss and mistreatment and hard times. I grieve myself, I grieve all the little ones I know, and I actually grieve Earth itself. And I think once I've internalized that message, it is, I mean, not to be so dismal, but a bit inescapable. So I'm constantly having to reckon with the grief that exists around my own nature and what is happening around us.
Do you sense that other folks that you work with in Emberwood experience that quite deeply as well?
I think
Are
yes.
they learning to experience that?
Yeah, and I think lots of us are actually doing this work all the time, but we don't have the language for it, or there's an impermissibility about speaking about it. Like you're not the most favorite person at the party if you show up and start crying about Earth. It doesn't always net you an invite back.
Yeah.
So I think we're always a bit hesitant to let that be part of the collective story that we are living. And I think at Emberwood, we have allowed that to be part of what we are doing.
So then, if you're working with others for them to have kind of that experience of connection with the earth such that we are it and it is us, how do you move past that grief? And is that connected with the season of spring at all, or is it kind of an all year long thing? How does that work for you?
I think the grief is cyclical, much like this experience in nature. So it comes in waves, it sort of dissipates as we name it, as we sit in relationship to it. And I think part of our grieving is just witnessing it and honoring that we are watching it happen. So there is space for it, there's capacity to hold grief as part of our natural way of being, that we're not always the best at. So it's not about getting rid of our grief, it's not about trying to cut off from our grief. It's about really embracing it as another way of being in relationship and being human.
Yeah, that's amazing. I've been thinking quite a lot lately about how we're awaiting this kind of greening of our world. And, you know, we talked about the buds on the trees. We haven't seen any of those yet, but there are green blades coming out of my lawn, and you know, so there's little signs of green, and I've been thinking about how that connects kind of to what goes on in us, that cyclical nature you talked about. I feel in the spring like there's Easter moments happening, like there's this kind of springing to life in some ways, not just because of the landscape, but because of, I don't know, thoughts about hopeful things or change, or, you know, spring has us thinking about that. I'm wondering how you experience kind of a greening in your own spirit.
Oh gosh, yes. I think I love this. It is connected to this sense of like, there's that period of time where spring doesn't seem like it's worked, or I'm a bit worried, and then all of a sudden the fruit of labor through hibernation makes itself evident. So this beauty of seeing that there is this period of time that is quiet, that is rest, that is very slow. Like I think about these rivers that are frozen. I think about bodies of water that have been frozen all season long. and then to hear them come back and to see this as a sense of like renewal, repurposing, that time for rest, time for renewal is built into our natural rhythm. And I see that echoed in my own life, that I've coming out of this quiet time, this period of time of like internal work, of slowing down, of hearing myself, of letting rest happen for me and to me. And so I also am in this place of feeling a bit worried, like, did it work? Did all of the work I did around nurturing my spirit work? And then knowing that I will wake up one morning and there will be buds. And I will start to see the fruit of labor that comes through rest and hibernation and slower seasons and colder seasons.
Wow. And so it becomes a season of activity and kind of watching and seeing where new things might develop. Yeah, that's cool. Well, this isn't just an interview.
Oh, the hot seat's going to come to you.
This is a conversation. So you've got questions for me.
I sure do. I think I could ask lots of questions. I'm curious about Earth Day as community time. Like, how do we embrace Earth Day as community? So my questions for you are oriented about, like, what does it mean for this community? What does it mean for us to be an Earth Charter community here at SSUC?
Yeah. Listen to all the mumbles. And you were right, Zoe, everyone will have an answer for this question. And so my answer is just one of many, but I feel like, when we look at an animal that we encounter, or a bird, or anything we encounter in nature is part of an ecosystem. It's very easy to think of that as, look at that blue jay I just saw, or I've got this lovely shrub in my yard. But it's easy for us to forget of how interconnected all of that is. And I think for me, when I think about that question, I think about all of the ways that we are one and the same with the earth and part of it, and being caretakers and stewards and working with the earth, some of us getting our hands in the soil and some of us leaving that to the pros. All of us are part of something else with that as well. We're not doing that by ourselves. And I think the same is true with us being an Earth Charter community. We did the study work. I say we, I wasn't around, but folks did that study work at the same time that there was study work going on to be an affirming community, 24 to 27 years ago, at the same time that there was work to build this space. There was so much going on. And at that time, it was important for this community to say, our relationship to the earth isn't just individuals. It's a collective work, and the more we can talk about it, and the more we can work together to strengthen each other's commitment to being part of that earth community, the stronger it will be.
Yeah, that's so lovely. And I think this points to this long history of being part of nature or sitting with nature for SSUC. So now I'll ask the real hard question.
Oh.
Is how do you understand SSUC as being nature?
That is a hard question, isn't it? Work with me here, everyone. If we are nature, and at the same time we are wanting to kind of highlight and develop the highest values for our living, that we want to talk about, well, how can I be better tomorrow than I am today? How can we make a positive impact on the worlds that we're in? Then in that sense, we are the world's ecosystem. I don't know if that's really an answer, but Okay, I brought a piece of paper with me because I wanted to quote from the Earth Charter at some point, and maybe this is the right time. Because even just when you look at the Earth Charter and you say, what is it? The very first sentence you come across is that it's an ethical framework for building a just, sustainable, and peaceful global society in the 21st century. I guess I look at those, I look at that statement, and then later on when it says that you can't just talk about one theme when it comes to that. It can't just be ecological protection, for instance. Everything works together. So there's another phrase that says, the Earth Charter recognizes that there are a number of things all tied together that can't be seen in isolation. Ecological protection, the eradication of poverty, equitable economic development, respect for human rights, democracy, and peace. They are all interdependent and indivisible. So if I think about that, and then I also think about the values that SSUC as a community wants to uphold, some of which are on the wall: respect, passion, courage, integrity, responsibility. Why wouldn't those all go together? Like, those are indivisible. So if we are nature and we are committed, then all of those values kind of go together. And we can't just pick and choose one or two. We have to take the whole bit.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It checks out for me. Which maybe leads to my last sort of curiosity, which is around then why is it meaningful now? Why is it meaningful that we do this as community? Why is it meaningful that it's happening here in this springtime moment? What does that mean for us in light of what you've just said?
Yeah. I honestly think it gets back to what you were saying about the cycles, that how much we learn from the natural cycles of the world, that there is a time of kind of laying low and resting and rejuvenating, and there is a time of growth, and there is a time of flourishing, and there is a time of receding. And all of that embodies health. Wisdom from the carpet is often the best wisdom of the day. I know all of you know that. But to talk about the earth, and wanting to keep it healthy. If we are nature, then we're also keeping ourselves healthy. That greening of our earth is our own greening. Our spirits crave that greening after a long winter. So to green our spirits and to celebrate that on Earth Day is about all of the newness that is potential. And I hope that can be there's a reason that Easter must come right before Earth Day. Would it always? I don't know. I'm not up on my lunar calendar data at the moment. But the themes are all there, right? New life, new kind of energy, understanding that something that was brown and dry and brittle may not always be that way, that there will be a greening and a softening. I think it's so important for us to hear in our spirits too. So as we see the earth greening in these coming weeks, I hope that the connection for us is that our spirits are the same. Our inner workings are also ripe for potential for that same greening. Yeah. So this was fun. Yeah. We should do that again. Thank you, Zoe. This is amazing. Thanks for sharing your heart and your wisdom with us.
Yeah, thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
And all of you.
Yeah, amazing. Great.
Thank you, Zoe and Chris, for that conversation. At this point, the choir and I would like to offer another song, and it is called We of Earth. And it's the title of the song, but also the first line of the song, and a little bit more of that line is, "We of Earth declare our responsibility." It is a line from the Earth Charter, which is a document, as Chris was describing, a document created through a global civil society movement in the 1990s. It is a document that is focused on ethics and principles to inform ethical and also ecologically conscious decision-making. It was introduced in part to us in 2006 by our friend, Carolyn McDade. She introduced a number of us to music, including this piece. In this piece itself was written in 2004 by a member of that Carolyn McDade and Friends Circle, by Nancy Nordley. Nancy was inspired by the text of the charter and brought it together with music. We endorsed it in 2009, but it has been a bit dormant to follow on that conversation. And so today we invite you into this piece. The choir will sing for us, but there will also be some movements. And so I'd like to invite you to join me on some of those movements as a reaffirmation of the essence of the charter. The two movements that I'll invite you to join me with, you can do while seated. And as you're able, the first movement would have us put our hands out in front of us and raise them up, recalling perhaps Gaia, that blue marble, our home. And it's when we sing, "We of Earth." The next line is "We declare," and so then we bring our hands down with purpose, with intention. And then I'll continue to do some movements, and then the line will come back, and so we'll go back up and down a few times. Thank you. I'm going to move the mic for the choir to prepare too.
We of Earth, we declare our responsibility to the whole. To the future, we of Earth declare. Responsibility.
let's get together. If you are new to the charter, if you would like to refresh your relationship with the charter, Chris has created a sign-up sheet, I think, for us at the back. And if you also want to just contact the church, please let us know that, and then we'll make a plan to begin renew that conversation. Thank you.
A few invitations from the community as we think about what's coming up in the life of SSUC. I want to just name a few quick ones. Today is an exciting day because we are hosting this season's newcomers lunch. If you're new to the community, and for us that means really any time over the last 4 years since we've had a newcomers lunch, if you're new to us, you're welcome. Lunch will happen immediately following this gathering downstairs in the hall, and we'll have a chance to not just eat, but to get to know each other and have a little bit of conversation. So please, you're welcome to stay. Even if you didn't plan on it, you're welcome. And just a quick note about a new education opportunity. It grows out of our expansive Easter conversation, but it is encompassing a lot more than that. If you attended that and said, ooh, I would like to know more and talk more, or if you're just interested in kind of what is expansive spirituality as we experience it here at SSUC, then Claire and Harry are going to facilitate some amazing conversations, 6 Wednesdays, starting on May the 3rd. So please sign up in the foyer or contact the office if you're online and would like to be a part of those 6 Wednesdays.
And I will be there.
Thank you, Claire. You scared me.
I will be there beside the table for sign up, and there's not a lot of time. We're sandwiched between Easter and we don't want to run into summer when people are gardening. So it starts a week from this coming Wednesday for 6 Wednesday evenings, and we'll start with a half hour of presentation, and then lots of time for questions and time for sharing. So we look forward to having you as much as possible. It will be a small group, so we're trying to limit the size, and if we have too much in the way of response, we may do it again in the not too distant future.
Perfect. Thank you, Claire. You're not who I have on my list, but come up anyway. Come on.
Did you have Dean?
Yes. Go ahead.
My name is Jo Nicholas, and along with my partner Sandra Hildebrand, who might be in the kitchen, we are the co-chairs. There she is at the back, looking lovely. We are the co-chairs of property management, maintenance. I was on that committee many, many years ago, and we did different things. And I'm going to talk fast because I was told I only have 2 minutes. So I have 3 golden opportunities. One of those is to be an adoptive shrub bed gardener. We have many shrub beds that need some attention after this long hiatus from gardening. We also need mowers, and we have a roster for those. We're also looking for some help during our custodian's break. He's been working for 1.5 years without a break, and it's time he got out of here for a while. So there's 3 sign-up sheets in the back for you, 3 opportunities. Now the 4th item is we no longer have the keypad entry on the east door. So if you are the last person in the church, it's imperative that you check that door to make sure that the crash bar has been disengaged, because if it's not, the church is then left vulnerable to being opened.
Now it's on. I'm Dean Verger, and I'm wearing this apron for a simple reason. I like desserts. I like conversation. And this is what this is about. A team of us have come together to recreate this Guess Who's Coming not for dinner, but for dessert. Let me tell you a little bit about this. First, we need hosts. Imagine this. A host, you're in your home, you have a few guests coming over, you're serving tea, coffee, maybe cookies, pie, cake, and you have conversation. What's different about this is, first, the hosts sign up. They get to pick their day, their time. Then, once that has been achieved, we put the information out, and the guests come along and sign up for the day and time. The guests don't know who the hosts are. The hosts don't know who the guests are until the day before. And then they meet, and there is a lovely chance for you, for me, to make new friends. This is Guess Who's Coming for Dessert. It will run between May 28th, June 2nd, but not May 29th for some reason. So, this is the sign-up sheet. It will be out on the table. Feel free to sign up today as a host. In the weeks to come, you'll get to sign up as guests, should you wish. And the Guess Who's Coming for Dessert team are Margaret Hetherington, Joy and Bill Hibbard, myself, Chad Krayenhofen, Maryland McPherson. So for more information, talk to one of us, or simply, if you would like to host and be part of this mystery, the sheets will be out there. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Mark Nickel. Newer to the congregation, my wife Heather and I have been coming for the last while. A hello to everybody in virtual land, because we were there 6 months ago in October, checking things out, and so we made it this far, and we're very happy we've made it this far. I didn't come up for that applause, but we've been participating with the Moving Forward to Truth and Reconciliation group, who are lovely folks. And the group wanted to highlight the Moose Hide campaign. For those of you who don't know, it is an Indigenous-led initiative started by an Indigenous man and his daughter out in BC about 12 years ago. And the initiative is to engage men and boys in ending violence towards women and children. And one of the ways that they have a May 11th campaign day, which has a free virtual sign-up that I've taken it in the last 2 years, and really neat speakers and engagement. Men and boys are encouraged to fast. It is not required, but it's a pretty neat experience. One of the ways you can support the initiative also is by wearing your little moose hide patch. And what that does is it allows people to, I wear mine all the time when I have the right jacket on, and people might say, oh, what's that patch about? And then you can have a little elevator speech. And what I like about this is, I don't know, there's this language of calling men out and calling men in. And this is a nice way to call men in and boys in, to say we can be part of this solution, and we need to speak up more about this, because women have done a lot of the heavy lifting, most of the heavy lifting on these issues. So I think that's about it. Heather actually ordered 100 pins. So now we forgot them today, but we will have them next time. And everyone's encouraged to participate. Everyone of all genders is encouraged to participate in this initiative, but it's specifically focused to engage men and boys. So we will have pins, and if you have any questions, we may have the answers or not. The website has a ton of stuff on it. So thank you.
Third time's a charm. Please join me as we share our intentions for the earth with the words on the screen. To bring new life to the land, to restore the waters, to refresh the air.
We join with the earth and with each other.
To renew the forests, to care for the plants and trees, to protect the creatures.
We join with the earth and with each other.
To celebrate the seas, to rejoice in the sunlight, to sing the song of the stars.
We join with the earth and with each other.
To recall our destiny, to renew our spirits, to reinvigorate our bodies.
We join with the earth and with each other.
To use resources wisely, to balance life systems, to honor the land and her people.
We join with the earth and with each other.
To build compassionate human community, to heal each other and ourselves, to promote justice and peace.
We join with the earth and with each other.
To remember our ancestors, to plan for our children.
We join with the earth and with each other. All things bright and beautiful, all creatures great and small, all things wise and wonderful, we celebrate them all. Each little flower that opens, each little bird that sings, their vivid glowing colors, their thin and tiny wings, the purple-headed mountains, the river running by, the sunset and the morning that brightens up the sky. All things bright and beautiful, all creatures great and small, all things wise and wonderful, we celebrate them all. The Rocky Mountains splendor, alone most haunting call, the Great Lakes and the prairies, the forest in the fall, the cold wind in the winter, the pleasant summer sun, the ripe fruits in the garden, rejoice in every one. All things bright and beautiful, all creatures great and small, all things wise and wonderful, we celebrate them all.
Friends, we go on this day to honor the earth in ways that take the wisdom it teaches with us. May we take the light of the sun, the reflection of the moon. May we take the wisdom of the new shoots of green and the life of the animals in changing color. May we take it all, and may we live it, and may we be it in the greening of our lives.